In Libya's capital Tripoli, these people gather to show their support for the flood victims in the east. Their signs read Derna, our hearts and prayers are with you.
The storm was more than the infrastructure could handle. It left misery and destruction in its path. So many people have died and are missing. I lost family members. Every family has lost someone. It's a very difficult time. May God be with our country.
Adham El-Lafi says when he saw the pictures from eastern Libya, he had to do something. He organized a small shipment of aid on Tuesday with some friends. Now he sends convoys on a daily basis.
People from across the country are helping. What happened was a tragedy, but maybe we can benefit from it. People here are sad about the disaster, but also very happy and excited about the unity.
Dozens of donation centers like this one have been set up in Tripoli. People give what they can. Along with the extensive destruction across Derna, the city's 2 dams burst after heavy rainfall sent a tidal wave down the valley. Entire communities here were swept away into the sea or buried under the rubble. The recovery operation goes on with the help of international search and rescue teams. Libya has 2 rival governments. Both have allocated funds for emergency response efforts and to rebuild devastated areas. But there are fears if they can't cooperate, much needed assistance might be delayed.
Now is not the time for politics. It's not time to talk about which government does what. It's a humanitarian issue. Our people were swept away into the sea. Many are missing.
Libyans have seen years of conflict and divisions, but many are putting aside differences to help their fellow citizens. There's been an outpouring of support from across the country. What happened in eastern Libya has brought together a previously divided people who are now uniting in their grief and loss. They hope politicians can do the same. Malik Traina, Al Jazeera, Tripoli.
Well, this is the challenge of getting aid into devastated areas. Storm Daniel made landfall on the 11th of September in Libya's eastern coast, causing flooding and damage in several towns. The city of Derna was the worst affected. Benghazi is one of the main points of entry for deliveries by road. Only 2 roads into Derna are usable, and they involve a long, winding route through the mountains. The port has also been reopened for aid arriving by sea. But once emergency workers arrive in Derna, they're met with more obstacles. 5 bridges have collapsed, splitting the city, further hampering movements to worst affected zones. We can cross live to Tripoli and speak to Al Jazeera's Malik Traina. Malik, a scene of huge devastation with a threat of waterborne diseases now on the horizon, it seems.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, there are thousands of people still missing, believed to be in the sea or under the rubble in the mud. So there are serious concerns of diseases coming out. Earlier we started hearing that it is possible that the Eastern government will announce the complete evacuation of the city of Derna to stop civilians, volunteers from coming in, and just to allow rescue teams to continue their work. But this is the problem. I mean, there's 2 governments, right? So we're trying to talk to officials in the east. Also here, officials in the west are coming out with their own statements. So, this who do we trust, or who do we talk to? That's an issue. But we're trying to figure out the solution, and we're talking to the people on the ground. And the situation is devastating. There are fears of diseases, definitely.
Malik, you mentioned people on the ground there. I mean, who is attempting to coordinate this huge humanitarian situation there?
I mean, at the moment, it appears that it's just chaotic. It's just everyone just showing up and doing whatever they can to help. Look, people in Libya are uniting to help those in need in eastern Libya, and there's a real feeling of brotherhood that we haven't seen. It's reminiscent of the revolution in 2011, and people are also starting to feel, that the international community is helping. I mean, dozens of countries now are starting to show up. You have Qatar, Turkey, the UAE, Egypt, Italy, Spain, Malta, various EU countries. I mean, the Kuwaitis, the Jordanians. So people are pouring in. Libyans are feeling, that they're getting help from the international community. Libyans were divided for years, but the international community has also been divided when it comes to Libya. So the hope is that we can see a unified stance, and Libya can finally unite and become a stable country after this disaster.